Hello, everyone. My name is Kayla Mahan Blake, and I am going to be your host from Travel Week for this webinar. Explore Ireland's exciting festivals, holidays, and cultural celebrations, and learn how these signature events bring the country's rich heritage, communities, and destinations to life year-round. Before I hand things over, we have a bit of housekeeping. We do have a prize. You have a chance to win a gift bag, but you do have to stay until the end of the webinar, which won't be more than about an hour. We are going to be answering all of your questions at the end of the session, so if anything comes to mind, pop it in the Q&A box in your control panel, and we will make sure to go through them at the end of the webinar. So I would like to introduce, we have Ceithleann, Dolores, Nevin, and Zara here. Thank you so much for being here. Whenever you are ready, take it away.
Thank you so much, Kayla, and good morning, everyone. My name is Ceithleann, and I work for Tourism Ireland here in Canada. And today we're going to be talking to you about the festivals and events happening in Ireland, giving you some advice, and then we'll have our partners talking to you too. So, Shenanigans Walks in Kilkenny, we have Nevin Cody. We have from Creative Tours Belfast, Dolores Vischer, and from the Hawthorn in Galway, we have Zara Kelly. So before we get into the theme, I wanted to give you some advice and show you some of the resources that are available to you. And before we do that, I want to show you our latest campaign video. So this is the island that goes beyond.
Oh, that was good, wasn't it? Excuse me, your hat. You dropped your hat. Yes, hello. Hi. Sorry. Oh, must be joking. Hey, you dropped it. Guys, hi. Guys, I think you dropped this.
Thank you.
Yeah. No bother.
So there we go. You get a little sense there of the Irish hospitality and what to expect when you come to Ireland. So, in the sense of our country, we are one amazing island and we have six unique regions. So, we have Dublin, which is inspiring by nature, which is seen here in the blue. We have Ireland's ancient east in the orange. We have Ireland's hidden heartlands in the green. We have the wild Atlantic Way here on the west coast here. And then we have Northern Ireland here as well. And you can see different attractions and loads of different information on Ireland.com in relation to those regions. And we're very well connected too. So, for instance, to go from Dublin here, our capital city, to Galway, it takes around 2 hours. Dublin to Shannon, it takes 2.5 hours. Dublin to Kerry, 3.5 hours. To Cork, 3 hours. And to Belfast, 2 hours. We also have regional airports that connect to Dublin as well. So if you wanted to check out Donegal or Kerry, it would take around 40 minutes on a regional flight. To get to Ireland, it is easy to get to Ireland from Canada. We have direct air access year round from Aer Lingus from Toronto to Dublin and from Air Canada from Toronto to Dublin. With Air Canada as well, we do have seasonal air access from Vancouver and Montreal, as well as Air Transat from Toronto to Dublin. And we also have with WestJet, we have seasonal air access from Toronto, Calgary, Halifax, and this year as well, St. John's. So it is very easy to get to Ireland directly. Again, as I mentioned earlier, our website is ireland.com. I'll be talking you through some of the festivals and events that we have in Ireland briefly. But if you wanted to check out what events are happening year round, you can check out our events guide on Ireland.com. So you can see there we have the Rory Gallagher International Tribute Festival, there's a Bikes Fest, Bloomsday, alongside our more traditional events such as Puka, Derry Halloween, and so on. And festivals are one of the best reasons to visit Ireland. We have great culture, music, food, and we celebrate our traditions year round across the island. The first one I wanted to highlight with you is the Guinness Cork Jazz Festival, and this is the biggest jazz festival in Ireland. And this year, the headline event is that Bob Geldof and the Boomtown Rats will be there to celebrate their 50th anniversary tour. And there are loads of different music events happening across the city for that event, between free sessions in the pubs to different concerts in different live music venues across the city, and it's a beautiful event. Ireland is also home of Halloween. So Halloween, or Samhain, started in Ireland, and there are wonderful celebrations of Samhain or Halloween across the island of Ireland. I'm going to show you this quick video to give you a sense of the different festivals that we have on the island of Ireland. There we go. And then another event, of course, this will be on many people's bucket lists, is St. Patrick's Day. So, of course, we are known for St. Patrick's Day, and the biggest celebration in Ireland is the St. Patrick's Festival in Dublin, and that happens between the 14th and the 17th of March. It features parades, street performances, there's live music, and you can experience all of that culture in the city. There's also St. Patrick's Festival in the city of Armagh, and Armagh is the home of St. Patrick. So you can get to know more about the history of St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, and you can see the ties that go back 1,500 years with the city of Armagh there as well. So there's lots to do across the island of Ireland. Those are just two examples there, and you can find out more sample itineraries and different things happening across that period on ireland.com as well. For Pride, there are lots of events happening across the island. We have the Dublin Pride Festival, which happens in June, and this is a massive celebration. It's not just a parade. There is a huge lineup of different events. The picture there on the screen demonstrates the Mother Block Party. It's one of the biggest outdoor parties and celebrations of our time here in Dublin. And then we have the Belfast Pride Parade that happens in July as well. So that's just been happening recently. And again, a huge celebration. We also did a webinar recently with Travelweek discussing different events across Ireland that you could go to for Pride. So you can check that out with Travelweek as well. We also have the Galway International Arts Festival, and this is Europe's leading arts festival featuring theatre, music, visual arts, and spectacular outdoor performances. And it's a really lovely festival. So the next one will be taking place from the 12th until the 25th of July next year. Dhulacháin na hÉireann, this is the biggest festival of our Irish traditional music, and it has just taken place in Belfast just this past couple of weeks, and will be taking place in Belfast again next year. I know that Dolores, one of our partners, will be discussing the Fleadh in more detail, but Dhuibhir is, the direct translation is a feast of music, so it's a big celebration of music. You have street performances, live music sessions, competitions happening, and it's just a wonderful festival. Then we go to Christmas, and of course we do have Christmas markets in Ireland as well. Some that you can see on the screen there are Galway, Belfast, Waterford, and then you can see Dublin's lovely street lights there with the Christmas lights there. Nollaig Honadich is Happy Christmas in Irish, and it's a wonderful time to visit Ireland when you see all of the lights and all of that as well. So highly encourage you to visit the Christmas markets as well. One last one that I wanted to mention to you is next year we will be hosting the Ryder Cup between September the 13th and the 19th. It's taken 21 long years, but the Ryder Cup will be returning to Ireland, to Adare Manor. Ireland is known for our golf courses. It's a wonderful destination to go golfing, and I just wanted to share this video with you now so that you can see what it's like.
The island of Ireland. It's where golf meets legend. From renowned parkland courses to world-class centuries-old links courses carved out by nature. All rounded off with the best Irish welcome at the 19th hole. Ireland delivers golf at its finest. Visit Ireland.com/golf.
Now, and I am going to pass you
The
over
island of
to
Ireland.
Nevin now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kanan. And Kate made a fault, everybody. 100,000 welcomes all the way from myself. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself in a couple of minutes. And I want to talk to you a little bit about Kilkenny City and County, which didn't get that mentioned there, by the way. But I'm going to tell you all about it because we are a really important landmark and city in Ireland. So if we go to the next slide, Kanan, will be great. So Kilkenny is right in the heart of Ireland's ancient East, and it's one of those areas of Ireland that she was talking about. We're about halfway between Dublin and Cork. We're 90 minutes from Dublin, Shannon and Cork airports. But also we have a train link, but also any of the cruises and ferries that come into Ireland at Cork, Waterford, Dublin and even Wexford are only a short distance to us as well. So a very, very accessible location in Ireland's ancient East. We have the next slide. If I could tell you a little bit about Kilkenny, and for those who've not been here before, Kilkenny is known as the medieval capital of Ireland. And we have on the left-hand side there a picture of our famous Kilkenny Castle. It's at one end of our city. It's where the shenanigan starts, where I'll talk about in a moment. And then at the other end, we have St. Canice's Cathedral and Round Tower. And in between this, we have a range of medieval landmarks, the only surviving medieval merchant's house in the whole of Ireland, a famous beer called Smithwick's we talk about, many abbeys, other cathedrals, another castle. But we also have amazing bars, restaurants, and also we are known as a shopping city. We've been a medieval merchant city since the 1400s, and we still have many, many independent stores that are thriving in the city to this day. So we love to explore those when we're talking to people. And the city streets and corridors are filled with just little trinkets of mystery and interest for people. And there's always something happening in the city. And what I want to do is share some of those things with you. If I could have the next slide, please. So Kilkenny is known as the festival city. We've got festivals 11 months of the year. We take a little bit of time off in January just to relax. I think if we could squeeze another one in, we probably would do that as well. But we've over 30 festivals a year in the city. Probably the most famous ones we have the Kilkenny Arts Festival, which is on right now at the moment. We have a famous Kilkenny Festival, which when it started was probably the inspiration for the other comedy festivals that now take place around Ireland. Plenty of music festivals, and our largest festival of the year is the Food Festival, which takes place in October around the Halloween period of time. And then we have a famous animation company in Kilkenny called Cartoon Saloon, who are 5-time Oscar nominated. And we've built a whole festival around animation now, which is growing every single year. And of course, Halloween. We can't forget Halloween. Ireland is the home of Halloween, and Kilkenny has been designated a home of Halloween. So we've mentioned Derry and also up in Meath. Kilkenny is going to start growing out festivals around that as well over the next couple of years, because we've got a very famous Kilkenny witch, Alice Hitler, and the first person burned at the stake for witchcraft in the world happened in our city. So we'll talk about that maybe in a few minutes. But there's a few other things I want to share, because if we have the next slide, Caelan. So Kilkenny is also a craft destination. In 1965, the stables, which is just across the street from the famous castle, were turned into the National Design and Craft Yard of Ireland to reinvigorate Irish craft and design. And we still have craft makers at work to this day. And many of the people around Ireland either trained there or were trained by people who were trained here to learn silversmithing, leathersmithing, wood turning, ceramics, and so forth. And we also have markets throughout the city, not just during festival period, but also all year round. On Thursdays, you're looking at a Christmas version of it here, but on Thursdays all year round, and on Saturdays during the summer months, we have a market that sets up along the street here outside of the castle. And in 2021, Kilkenny was designated not just the city, but also the county, a world craft destination. And this is one of only 3 in the whole of Europe. There's one in Denmark, there's one in Spain, and Kilkenny is the 3rd one. And if any of you have heard of the national sports of Gaelic football and hurling, the national final every year called the All-Ireland, probably the equivalent of your Stanley Cup, the 2 cups that are given every year were made here in Kilkenny by the two silversmiths in that yard. And it's a great story to be told here, but there's so many other makers to be meeting there. So we like to tell that story as well. So we can have the next slide, please. So a little bit about just what I do and the word shenanigans. We get up to shenanigans on the tour. We wanted to bring the city to life. We didn't want to create an experience where people are just hearing facts and figures and looking at buildings. We wanted to bring the stories to life because we've been a city here for many, many centuries. And we have not just the medieval merchants that were here, but the stories to go with those that have come down through the traditions. And many of the festivals we're talking about have been built on the back of those traditions. And they're the tales we like to tell. And we have now a multi-award winning tour experience where we help bring all of these things to life. So all of the events are different holidays, from Patrick's Festival to all the other festivals I mentioned. Shenanigans is usually involved, or I often MC many of those events. So I can always help you navigate that if you're coming to Kilkenny or sending people to Kilkenny, and help you understand the best way to experience the city when you're here. So we can have the next slide, please. I just want to tell you a little bit about what we offer. So we bring a modern twist to traditional tours. So a little bit different than the normal out there. I wanted to bring a blend of histories, stories. So we've got all the iconic landmarks, the castle, the cathedrals, the merchant's house that I was talking about. We even have an old witch's house, which is now a public house. But I also introduce curious sayings and origins. And we're known for our sayings in Ireland. And we explain many of these on the tour. In fact, this has proved so popular that I'm now in the process of finishing off a book. And we have many of our previous guests waiting for that book to be released because it proved so popular. But we talk about put it on my tab, where did the word hangover come from, why do we have a bolt out of the blue, or chance in your arm. And these are all phrases that either come from that period or many of them come from Ireland. And we explain them on the tour. Because when I started doing tours and got involved in tourism first, I used to see couples on a tour, and many of them, there would be one person who's really into the history and the facts and the figures. The other person's looking at their watch. When the hell can I get out of here? And I wanted to create something to engage them. So we put some twist into the stories, the captivating tales of the greatest knight who ever lived is the person who built that stone castle that I showed you, but also Kilkenny's infamous witch. And our poor old maidservant, Petronella, who was the first person they believed to be burnt at the stake for witchcraft in the world. So we have all of these events and festivals. We've got great local guides. I only work with a small number of people, but we deliver really high-end experiences for people. But I also have a phrase in there, magical moments. We also have some magic effects on the tour to bring things to life. So when we get outside the famous brewery of Smithwick's, we tell the story of the Smithwick's family, but we also make a bottle of beer disappear. Not the way some of you might like to make it disappear, but all for fun. We also talk about an ancient drunk test. And then when we're outside the witch's house, we actually tell that story as we test one of the guests to see if they're a witch and bring that story to life. All for fun, of course, and mystery and understanding and a little bit of shenanigans and Irish crack, and just to bring it all into perspective for people what that is all about, Irish humour and sarcasm and crack and so forth, as we call it. Can I have the next slide, please? Be great. So just a little bit of what we offer. We offer scheduled and private tour experiences, and they can be tailored. The private tours can be tailored to your client's needs. Across the street from the castle, I mentioned Kilkenny Design. And so not only do we tie in with all the other events and festivals and do things with them when they're on, Kilkenny Design I partnered with a couple of years ago, and we offer craft maker tour experiences where they hear the stories and the history, but we also go into each of the workshops and meet the different craft makers that are there in the workshops. There's also possibilities for them to do a workshop, working with some of the craft makers who offer those workshops if they have the time to do that. And we also have a mobile puzzle tour where people will discover the city using their mobile phone, solving riddles and puzzles to open up the stories for them as it brings them through a trail through the city. And they can either gamify it, have a bit of fun, do it against the clock, against other team members, or they can just take their time and do it for over a half a day or a full day, whatever they want to do for themselves. There's always added extras to be added in. We're famous for our Irish coffees in Ireland, so we can do a making class. The whiskies, you can't come anywhere in the world without trying an Irish whiskey, and our beers, of course. And we're not always been known for our food because much of it was exported. But nowadays, the food in Ireland is absolutely world class because we're hanging on to it and we're demonstrating what quality produce we have in Ireland, and we want to share that with our guests as well. And of course, the ancient sport of hurling, it's something else that people can experience. So when we're doing tours, we want to go beyond just a guided, we don't see ourselves as a guided tour, but a misguided tour, because we do get up to a little bit of mischief as well. And then there's just a few more slides to do. If you could go on just the next one. The magic's in the detail. Tours normally take 90 to 120 minutes. We can shorten that if time is limited, or we can do a half, full day or multi-day itineraries with you. We work 7 days a week, 12 months of the year, and that's because Kilkenny is active and lively all year round, not just with international guests, but the domestic audience love coming to Ireland as well, particularly on the weekends. We have agents' rates and commissions, so we can talk about that when we communicate, hopefully after this event. We work with ad hoc, FIT groups, MICE, VIP, and the experience for me, I see it as before, during, and after. And it's almost like the video that was shown to you right at the start. Beforehand has given me as much intel and information as you possibly can about the group. It might be that someone is celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, or it might be they've had a lousy night's sleep last night and everybody's in a bad mood. But that's okay. That's good information to have, because then we can meet them where they're at, and we can either celebrate that special event or slowly ramp up the energy and get them back into a better place before they leave Kilkenny. We can't control the mood they arrive, but we can definitely control it before they leave. And then the after piece is, it's not the tour is over and see you later, folks. It's let's get them back to the coach, let's get them back to the restaurant or their hotel. Or it might be somebody is looking to buy a particular gift. And if we'd known about this in advance, we might be able to identify 3 or 4 stores that might have what they're looking for. And we can direct them to those places or take them to those places, and to help utilize their time much better, to have more time to themselves in the city when they've done that shopping for themselves. And we want to create stories that people then remember, and not just the stories of the buildings and the history, but the stories of the experiences that they've had, the people that they've interacted with as well. So just 2 more slides to go. Okay, next one. We want to fill the senses, and if we can do that, we fill the heart. So we want them to hear the history, feel the history, taste the history as well, if that's possible, and hopefully smell it as well when they're having a nice glass of Spinnix at the end and they get to taste and experience. I'm not sure about medieval smells. We haven't introduced those yet, but maybe we will one day. But the more senses that people have, the more likelihoods they're going to go away with a happy memory of a place and want to come back again. And often the biggest complaint we have in Kilkenny is they haven't had enough time there. So that's the one thing I would always say to people: they want more time in Kilkenny, or they will come back to Kilkenny again, which is great. And just the next slide, if I could, just from a sustainability point of view, we want to explore responsibly. So we plant a tree for every booking that we have. Our next planting will take place in spring of next year. We're a member of Sustainable Travel Ireland. And we also volunteer locally. We also, from an economic point of view, we donate money locally and help other businesses as best we can as well. So we want to care for the place that we share. And then the last slide is moments of wow. With a backdrop that we have in Ireland, Ireland's Ancient East and Kilkenny, there's not just Kilkenny, but there's plenty more in the county that hopefully if we communicate after this event today, I can tell you more about. But the surrounding counties also have so much magical places and things to do. And you're going to hear about some of them more in a moment. I call them moments of wow. That's what we create, many, many moments of wow that end up to a great feeling, a great memory, and a great experience that people remember for a long, long time afterwards. So appreciate you listening to me. And what I'm going to do now is hand you over to the wonderful Dolores.
Thank you, Nevin. Okay, so I'm Dolores and I'm based up in Belfast, and my company is Creative Tours Belfast, and we are specialists in guided music and cultural experiences. We have a fabulous city with rich music, literary tradition, actors, artists, writers. We're so rich in all the arts that I've decided to specialize in those areas. Next slide, please. So we're the capital city of a small area, Northern Ireland, but we're very, very close links to Dublin, as we already saw on the first slide. The key thing about Belfast, in my opinion, but I'm quite very biased on the music side, is that we are a UNESCO city of music. We're the only designated UNESCO city of music on the island, and the third in the UK, along with Liverpool and Glasgow. So we have such a rich music scene in Belfast that you can't go too far without hearing music coming out of a venue. We have music across all genres. And of course, as was mentioned earlier on, we've just hosted the first Flacul na Heron to be up in Belfast. And I had to update the slide because we were expecting 800,000 visitors and we thought that was ambitious. But in fact, 1.65 million visitors passed through Belfast on the 8 days of the Fleadh. And it was music across many genres, a lot, of course, on the traditional Irish music, but with Belfast being so rich in music, we showcased many of the other genres of music on the big stage there in front of City Hall and in the venues throughout the city. And the Fleadh is coming back next August, and we're hoping to do it bigger and better on the 1st to the 8th of August. So, in fact, Belfast, I've tried to count the festivals and I've got to 90. There is not a week that you would come to Belfast that there is not one festival on, or if not two or three. We have festivals for specific genre of music, from jazz, the Tradfest, the even Harps Alive. We have Nashville Songwriters Festival, all sorts of music specialist festivals. Then after this, I'm just popping out to go to the Belfast International Arts Festival launch. That's been the longest running festival, 60 years, I think. And it's literature, theatre, dance and music. So some of the bigger festivals cover everything. Even in January, we have Out to Lunch in January, just to keep us all going during the long, dark days of January. The image at the bottom there shows the very vibrant street art scene that we have in Belfast. And we do have a festival for that as well, Hit the North, in early May. Next slide, please. So I was setting up the company and I was just testing out my new music tour in November 2021, which was when it was announced that we had earned the status of UNESCO City of Music. So I decided to leave my existing job at a university and set up Creative Tours Belfast. And we've been since quite early on assessed and endorsed by Tourism Northern Ireland into their category of experience Embrace a Giant Spirit. And in 2024, we earned an Innovation in Tourism Award. We have got several really high quality guides, very passionate ambassadors for Belfast. And we work with many tour operators and DMCs across this island, the UK, Europe, the US. We have some college group visits too from Canada, the US and the UK. So very, very happy to work with more Canadian organisers. So look forward to hearing from you perhaps afterwards. Next slide, please. So about me, well, you probably don't need this much information, but I became a tour guide and set up the business within the last 5 years. Before my long career has taken in mainly things to do with publishing. I've been an editor, a journalist, a publisher of both books and newspapers and magazines. I set up my own magazine in Belfast, an arts magazine, hence my passion for the arts and music. I've been an event manager and a PR consultant for music, corporate and university clients. I have specialist music knowledge because I've been playing the bodhrán. That's that round drum in the lower picture to the right. And that is the Irish drum since a young age when I grew up in Donegal. I then progressed to a drum kit and I've sung and drummed in rock and punk bands. And that you can see that picture's not that long ago. I was even in a band until just over a year ago when it was really taking up too much time. But just for fun, never anything particularly successful. But I have written and recorded songs and I really know the music scene very well in Belfast because I'm a member too of the academy that helps develop the shortlists for our NI Music Prize, which is our annual Oscars for the music scene and music industry in Northern Ireland. So next slide, please. So the Belfast Music Walking Tour is our flagship experience and it's offered on a scheduled basis twice a month, once with a special performance at the end by a local musician and once that's 2.5 hours without the music performance. It's the only tour in the city that covers many, many genres from rock, pop, punk, jazz, traditional Irish to classical, harp, electronic, all sorts of things. And we also explore the music heritage of our city, because Belfast, being up in the north, we've got such a high proportion of Ulster Scots in our DNA. So we talk about the Ulster Scots contribution and, of course, the Irish contribution. Everybody on our tours hears music along the way, and they get a little card to take away that helps connect them to the playlist that they've heard. And of course, we go to all sorts of cool venues, indoors, outdoors, even an old church. And the OEM Music Centre is the cool music hub for our city, very supportive of musicians, a venue in its own right. It hosts the NI Music Exhibition, so I work in association with them too. Next slide. So the Punk was the second tour that we started. Again, very, very popular. There's only 2 of us guides who are experienced enough to have lived through the first original punk era, and I still keep up with all the contemporary punk bands, so we can do a great job, I think, on that one. People seem to love it very much. And again, they get to take away a soundtrack list, and it's going to be scheduled for 2 Saturdays a month from next year. Next slide, please.
Your music.
Oh, no, we don't want to hear that. Too much, not enough time for that. Now, the new experience, we've got in a new experience, which is starting on the 11th of October. And this is called Belfast Music Stories at the Harrison. The Harrison is a really cool bohemian hotel on the Malone Road. And Melanie and I have developed this new experience where guests can come and get seated in comfort. And I speak to them about our music, let them hear and see videos of the stories of the musicians and bands that I'm telling them about. And in the hotel, all the rooms are named for famous Belfast people, a lot of them being bands and musicians. So, of course, I include stories about those. And then the second part of the experience is that we go on a tour of the rooms named for bands like Led Zeppelin, and you'll hear why that's connected to Belfast. Of course, Van Morrison, Ruby Murray, Ottilie Patterson. So we have a lovely tour of the bedrooms where they are very specially curated memorabilia, each relating to the name of the room. And that takes place on a Sunday, and it's going to be scheduled once a month. But of course, for all the tours, we offer private group visits, can be arranged at times to suit, and there can be optional refreshments included, as it is a hotel. So that's always there as an option. Next slide, please. So we have a number of other private experiences specialising around the music and the arts. Van Morrison, of course, we wouldn't be able to be in business if we didn't honour our best known musician. So we have a 2-hour guided walking tour in East Belfast with one of our number of specialist guides. And we see the streets the artist has written so much about in his song lyrics. And we see the schools he attended, the parks he played in, including the Hollow, the house where he has lived, which is in fact soon to become a museum to Van Morrison. And again, music is played along the way, and guests receive a complimentary booklet, Mystic of the East, that Van Morrison himself had quite a hand in shaping. So he's fully helped select the places that we take people to. Next slide. This one is the option where people maybe don't want to walk quite so much. We go by private executive car or minibus. We travel all the parts of Belfast, including a short walk around the area where he was born. And then we visit the famous Maritime Club location where them were discovered. We see the university where he performed 7 concerts last year for his 80th birthday, the Grand Opera House, all sorts of places with a connection to Van Morrison, with music played along the way, of course. And the next slide. We have 2 bus tours that we also offer, or by minibus or private car. One covers all the arts, and this is where we travel north, south, east, west of the city of Belfast. And as we go, we talk about the actors, the film directors, the painters, the sculptors, the musicians that are connected with the streets we're traveling through. And we make a stop at a lovely arts centre in each area of the city, north, south, east, west. And we can build in refreshments, performances as be required. But for example, that image of the underpass, that's where we look at the street art, and then a lovely poem that we hear the poet reading on an audio as we walk, because the poem is written on the ceiling of the underpass, which is lovely. And then to the right, that's where we visit the Seamus Heaney Centre and hear all about the great writers from Belfast. So that's one that is very popular for group bookings as well. Next slide, please. And of course, the bus music tour, that's the longest established. The OES started that one about 11 years ago. So I run that one with them and I manage all the bookings for it now. So again, it can be for as small a number as 1 to 3 people if we can go in an executive car, where we just focus on the stories of the musicians and we make 2 stops east and west of the city. So again, purely focusing on the music. Then we return to Oya, where we can explore the lovely exhibits in the NI Music exhibition and can stay on for a drink. So again, all these options are available for private tours. Let's see what the next slide is. So we've got a number of other walking tours, as well as the scheduled ones. They can be booked, and you can see those there, from the Queen's Quarter to historic pubs and the Literary Belfast that I took a few Canadian journalists on recently. So hopefully there may be coverage coming up on that in the Canadian Geographic. Next slide, please. And again, we can take from 2 to 20 or 24 people for any walking tour, and up to 33 comfortably in a mid-sized coach, although I have taken a larger coach than that on the Van Morrison city tour. So we're very flexible. We can work with you to help you develop bespoke itineraries that might include lunch, a meal, a performance by a musician from a whole range of genres. So I've got the 2027 rates available now, and I've sent those to Ceithleann, so we can send those out afterwards. And even the city of Belfast, we can move on now, is very compact. It's very easy to walk around. We've got the audio guide set so everybody can hear, even should there be background noises. But it's very easy to access Belfast from any of the points that your guests may be arriving into. Nice and flat to walk around. So many good restaurants. As Nevin said, we are now starting to actually acknowledge that our own food is really high quality. There's so many great events on that I can always signpost people to the festivals or good music events that we're taking place during their visit, and I'm always happy to do so. Next slide. So that's really just a little poster that I put up around town for all our music and culture tours, and you've got the contact details there for myself. But because I was a journalist, there's nothing I love better than trying to help you research and develop something that would really just be the very right thing for your guests. So maybe I look forward to hearing from 1 or 2 of you in the future. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
And lastly, we have coming up is Zara. So Zara, over to you.
Thank you, Nevin. Thank you, Dolores. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm going to just run through with you a hotel, so a venue. We are a new luxury hotel that's opened on the west of Ireland in Galway. We're known as the Hawthorne by Galway Bay. So we're based right along Galway Bay. And we are proud to be a member of Leading Hotels, and we are also Virtuoso Preferred. You can pop into the next slide there, Caitlin. So just in case those of you who may not know where Galway is, you'll see us circles there. We're exactly 20 minutes from Galway City, so just along the Wild Atlantic Way. In terms of, I suppose, of we're right in the motorway, so we're exactly 2 hours door to door from Dublin Airport, and Shannon Airport we're just over an hour. So ideal location. In terms of, I suppose, the when you do come to Galway, Galway City is a beautiful city to venture into, but we're also, I suppose, see ourselves as the main premium base as well for those visitors who want to go to the Aran Islands, the Cliffs of Moher, and experience Connemara. If you want to continue on into the side, then Caitlin, we'll go to into a bit more detail in terms of hotel. So we're very much an experience-led hotel. So we're based in the townland of Oranmore. So as I said, that's 20 minutes outside Galway City. We offer complimentary chauffeur service from our hotel into Galway City or beyond. If you wish to go to the Cliffs of Moher, that we can also organise chauffeur service. We are an experience-led hotel, which means for us it's very much about your guests coming to us and enjoying not only the hotel but also everything that Galway has to offer. So we've linked in with a lot of local suppliers and organised a lot of kind of tailored experiences. So what you'll see on your screen there is the Galway Hooker, which is a very well-known boat. We're originally a fishing village, Galway, being obviously on the west coast of Ireland. So we have tours that we work with there that can bring you on an original Galway Hooker around Claddagh, which is a well-known area within Galway City there as well. And then the other image will show you the off-roading that we also have linked in with a company within the Aran Islands that can offer just something very different for your guests to be able to do an off-roading experience. There are just two that we've kind of mentioned, but we have a lot as we go into, I suppose, the festival piece. We have our own oyster festival as well that's hosted in September, and we also, I suppose it's one of the big things for us will be seafood, and we have a lot of experiences that we'd work at Kelly Oysters, so you can go out onto the bay and see how oysters are harvested and that as well. We also have some in-house experiences, which I'll list within the next slide. If you just want to pop over to that, Caitlin. I think we'll highlight golf, which is one of the main things that we are known for. So we are based on our own 18-hole championship golf course. So in terms of the, I suppose, history behind the hotel, the Hawthorne was previously a hotel back 33 years ago when they opened the hotel as well as the clubhouse and the golf course. It was designed by Christo O'Connor Jr., which is a local to Galway, and he designed the golf course, and it opened along with the hotel. So it plays like a links course, and it's a very, as you can see, very open. We are on the Wild Atlantic Way, based in Galway Bay. So a lot of our members and visitors do say it's a very open. It's a very open course, which means it makes it challenging, which they do enjoy. The hotel had opened up and closed down after 6 years. It was owned by different stakeholders, but the clubhouse and golf course itself remained open for the last 33 years. So a local family, the Fitzgeralds, bought the derelict building that has been derelict for the last 27 years. And bought it in 2019 and made it what it was today. So we're open just under 2 months. So a very new product, but it's running very well. You can go ahead there to the next slide then, Caitlin. And I think it's just to highlight some of our in-house activities. So not only do we, I suppose, link in with a lot of Galway-based suppliers, we also offer a range of experiences for guests that are staying with us. We have our own chocolate shop in-house, and we also host our own chocolate making experiences with our in-house chocolatier, Tina, who's from Belgium. We also have our baking workshop, so your guests can come and make original Irish loaf. And we also have a whiskey and wine tasting cellar, which is available for tastings as well with our in-house sommeliers. So again, it's just an option if you're not a golfer, or if you don't want, I suppose, an alcoholic-led experience. There's a few different options there as well available for guests that wish to experience something in-house as well. And go ahead to the next slide then. So again, these are just some images, I suppose, of the hotel itself. This is the exterior of the hotel, and we have 114 bedrooms within the hotel, and we're very much a suite-led hotel. So we have 47 junior suites, 17 penthouse suites, and then the rest are your classic rooms. Our penthouse suites are situated on the 4th floor of the hotel, and they all have balcony and sea views. And then our junior suites have a mix of your forest view or your sea view. We are based in Renville, just in Oranmore. So Renville is actually a stony beach. So there's some gorgeous walkways around our hotel as well, literally on the doorstep. So you can take a coastal walk, or you can take a 5-kilometer walkway around Renville Woods as well. So we're blessed to have, I suppose, in terms of views for your bedroom, you're either looking onto the gorgeous Renville Forest, or you're looking onto Galway Bay as well. We also have a luxury spa on site, which I think I've included a few images within the next couple of slides then as well, which we can have a look at. go ahead to the next slide. Yeah, so this is just a snapshot of our indoor, our indoor spa in the previous page there. So we have two floors. This is the ground floor here, which you have your hydrotherapy pool as well as your thermal facilities. We also have an outdoor pool and an outdoor jacuzzi, as well as outdoor copper baths. The copper baths, you can do a 30-minute bathing ritual with local Galway seaweed as well, which is quite nice. And then we also have a relaxation area for when you're done your treatment that overlooks or 18-hole golf course then as well. The next slide, as you went to there, Caitlin just highlights again our lobby area. So a big thing that you'll see throughout our hotel is the use of natural furnishings. Obviously, we're surrounded by flora and fauna. Big thing for us is highlighting what we're blessed with in terms of our view. It literally looks over our gorgeous golf course in Galway Bay, straight into Galway City over the water. You can see that the city lights, and the interiors are very much warm, muted tones, because the views kind of speak for themselves. You can go ahead to the next slide then. Just to highlight some of the dining facilities then that we have on site. So we have a bar, which is our oyster catcher bar. Both of our dining options are named after birds that are local to the area. So the oyster catcher bar is our Japanese inspired bar. So we would serve lunch and dinner here, and you get small plates of sushi, sashimis, and then they're also you can line your men can shake up for you. And we also have Takashi Miyazaki, which is the first Japanese chef to hold a Michelin star within Ireland. And he's curated the menu and trained in all of our staff as well. So we're delighted to have him on board as well. I think the next slide may just cover or interiors of the space again. So again, a lot of natural oaks. The furniture is bespoke furniture from India. One of the owner, Paul Fitzgerald, has done all the interiors, so they're very much hands-on as two brothers who are the owners. And he's a lot of traveled a lot, so a lot of Asian inspiration throughout our design as well. You can go ahead to the next snap then. Okay, when you're ready. So then our other option, our premium dining restaurant, and it's a fire grill restaurant. So you'll probably see the kind of corner of your right hand side there, you'll see what looks like a fire engine, but that is our fire grill. So it's an open plan kitchen, and the idea is there's a kind of sense of theatrics when your guests are seated. They can see their porterhouse steaks being cooked along with local seafood. Again, huge thing for us throughout our dining is local use of local seafood and beef. We can even take guests if they like to, or our local beef farmer where we can select the beef ourselves. So that's a huge thing for us. So this is a nice option if you're looking for something, a good feed, as we say. And then other than that, we do have the clubhouse, which is part of the dining, which just offers more of a casual, so very ideal for a more casual or for the golfers as well. You can head on to the next slide then as well when you're ready. Thank you so much. So this just again highlights, I suppose, some of the things that Caitlin has already went over in her slides. So Galway is well known for hosting an array of different festivals, along with Belfast and Kilkenny. And I've just mapped some of them out there. So I suppose we're just over Galway Arts Festival as well as the Galway Races, which are two, I suppose, of the largest known festivals that we would host within Galway. So the Galway Arts Festival, people like Patti Smith have headlined it this year. So it brings thousands and thousands of people, along with the Galway Races, which is just over as well, and brings thousands of people. It's a week-long event, 7-day event there, and it brings a lot of travellers over from all sides of the world. And we're just getting prepared for the Oyster Festival, which is happening there in September. And as we highlighted as well, obviously Halloween is home to, or Ireland is home to Halloween, and we have the upcoming October, we host the Macnas Parade then as well, which happens bank holiday weekend. And then we have also very well known for our Christmas market, which happens in their square there, and usually kicks off around the 9th of October or 9th of November into the 23rd of December as well. So a really gorgeous time to come to Galway. The again, very walkable city, and the lights alone are a stunning really display around Christmas. So it's definitely worth popping down to us. We also will be opening throughout the Christmas period as well, and we'll have some really gorgeous events happening in-house within the hotel during the Christmas period as well. You can go ahead to the next slide then, Caitlin. So this just highlights, I suppose, in terms of our rooms. Our classic suites, as I explained, would be our starting room category, and we have a total of 50 of these. So you have a mix of sea view and forest view. Again, the image will just show in terms of interiors. This will be one of our sea view rooms. Interior-wise, quite muted, as the view itself speaks for itself. The next room category then in the next slide would be our junior suites. Again, our junior suites, slightly larger in size. We would have 47 of these. They do have a hidden Murphy bed, so you don't see it. Murphy bed is pulled down from the wall, so it's just in front of the sofa that you can see just over in the corner. So that's ideal. I suppose that one of our main market there will be golfers. That's one thing that golfers tend to do is they twin up. So it's quite a good option for them. Or indeed, if you have a family that are looking for 2 adults and 2 kids, the junior suite is ideal as well. So again, you have a mix of sea view and also forest view within the junior suite category. And then the third room category we have then is our penthouse suites. So the next slide will just highlight that. Again, we have 17 of these in total, and they're based on our 4th floor. We have 10 with a balcony and 7 without a balcony, and all have a butler-style pantry as well. So the idea behind that is if you'd like hors d'oeuvres or cocktails prepared within your bedroom, it will be butler-style service that can be prepared from the butler pantry then as well. I think that has covered most of the slides that I have. I don't think I have any more, Caitlin, unless you'll tell me I do. No. So very happy for any of you to get in contact with me. We offer FIT rates in that as well. And we'd absolutely love to bring you down when you're in the West next. Please get in contact, whether it's just for a round of golf or to stay or a site visit. As we're a new hotel, we'd love to welcome you in just to see what we can offer, and we'd be delighted to host your guests if they're coming down to Galway to experience the wonderful festivals that we have to offer.
Thank you so much for that, Zara, and thank you to Dolores and Nevin as well. So I just wanted to encourage you as well, if you have any questions or if you have any comments, to use the question and answers box there, and we will answer those for you shortly. I just wanted to give you some tools that how we at Tourism Ireland can help you. So for trip ideas, route planner, top attractions, travel advice and accommodation listings, you could visit trade.ireland.com for the latest information and touring suggestions. We also have the content pool, so Ireland's content pool, which gives you free access to thousands of images and videos to promote your marketing activities for Ireland as well. And again, we have different webinars happening and more practical information in terms of visas and the ETAs and other questions such as getting around Ireland. We're happy to help you navigate those with our website as well. We also have our trade e-zines where you can stay up to date with the latest news and travel information. So if you haven't subscribed for them, we highly encourage that, as well as our exclusive Facebook group, Ireland Insiders, so you can keep connected with us there. New for 2026, we have our Ireland Specialist Programme, so you can become an Ireland Specialist. You can deepen your knowledge of Ireland with specialised courses, and upon completion, you get the certificate of completion there to let everyone know that you are a specialist in Ireland. So you can register for that there as well. We highly encourage that. So if you wanted to experience Ireland at its most festive, we've discussed some of the festivals here today. Some of our tour operator partners have created dedicated departures around those key events like St. Patrick's Day. So it will make it simple for your clients to enjoy all the atmosphere without the stress of planning, whether they're looking to be at the heart of the action at Dublin's St. Patrick's Festival with the legendary parade, or if they wanted to discover local, authentic celebrations in smaller towns and villages like we discussed today, there's a tour to match their interest. So you can see here, and you can take a look at some of the offerings from CIE tours, from Contiki, and from RIT vacations as well for some itinerary ideas. And new in 2027, we have the Celtic Halloween experience from Royal Irish Tours. And this is the first ever dedicated Halloween tour by RIT, where they are offering travellers the chance to experience Ireland at its most atmospheric. So you'll journey through ancient landscapes, historic cities, legendary castles, and the world famous Derry Halloween Festival, which is widely regarded as one of the best Halloween celebrations on the planet. So from rolling countryside of Monaghan, the immersive itinerary blends history, culture, folklore, and unforgettable seasonal festivities unique to Ireland. So we highly encourage you to have a look at those and give them to your clients as well. And more information can be found directly from those tour operators. So if you have any other questions following this webinar, if we don't get to your question today, or if you think of any other questions, you can reach out to us here at Tourism Ireland. My colleague Lauren would be happy to assist you with your inquiries. She is at L. Lamonde at Tourism Ireland. Nevin can be reached at nevin.cody@gmail.com. Dolores, Creative Tours Belfast at gmail.com. And Z. Kelly at hawthornehotel.ie for Zara. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And if you have any questions, we're happy to answer those for you now.
Thank you so much for that incredible presentation. We did have a couple of questions, but they have been answered in the chat. And I think you guys did an amazing job and covered everything. So I don't have any questions right now, but as Ceithleann said, if you have any questions, you have all of their information. Everyone who attended will be getting the presentation sent to them. So any questions pop up, you're free to reach out. And thank you so much, guys. That was wonderful. All right. Well, that comes to the end of our presentation now. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Ceithleann.
Bye.